you use for attack and number 3 you use for defense if you play both of the games. And that massively reduces the amount of mistakes people make. So we are not getting wide incidences of people breaking the leadership rules, accidentally last second swapping whatever they have. Because mostly I think it's not the captains screwing up their setups, it's players last second being smart and changing the warband. Smart in quote marks. So yeah, make use of that feature, then rules are not that big of a problem anymore. And we are finally loading in here to enjoy another, hopefully very short tower pushing phase. And maybe some immediate action once again. And we see an instant retreat by APM, no crazy sallies. And to be fair, I do also expect it. I think APM did struggle a little bit with their team cohesion in a lot of these games. And I think it makes a lot of sense to go for strategies that make it a little bit easier and do not create too much chaos. I think APM is one of these teams that definitely profits from having structure in the game. And I would say, also considering my theory that Kermit also is individually across the board on an advantage, I also do think that chaos does not benefit APM in the sense that they might force more skirmishes and like 1v1 plays, and they might then lose individually on the flanks. So yeah, giving people the chance to fight as a team, fight as a blob, abuse the composition cooked by their captain might be the better idea. And we see some wild spear action outside uncooked bananas. Yeah, getting a little bit trolled by his aim assist heroes. I think he's wanted to dive the artillery to maybe get the breach or keep the breach closed or something. I have actually zero clue what the idea behind this crazy steady out was, because these death timers are really crucial. Or did he get bombed down? Did he jump to help? I actually didn't see that, guys, so fill me in the chat if you have an idea, because I can't make sense of it. And these dash timers are very crucial. I mean, you saw it also in the Rough Justice game today. Like these end caps, like when you get your like second, third or fourth fight here on this end cap, or prior to the end cap, you might get snowballed in this end cap, and then you're not respawning in fast enough. So respawn timers on this map matter a lot. Time doesn't matter as much as, for example, on Valley Fortress. But death timers are one of the very crucial details teams need to worry about, and players also need to worry about and adjust their playstyles. Especially if you have these deep unit comps like these two teams are also playing, both with a pretty similar and high unit count of 1660 and 1649 before the first push. Reach once again not getting destroyed by Kermit, giving them this free rotation here on the top. And giving access to the top of the supply, making use of these Cocos from the top of the supply to give actually a big range where your team's blob can operate without getting too much threat from opposing flames. So yeah, very smart position here by Kermit, going for the most important objective on this map before the end cap. Vanguard a little bit late to catch the aggressive poleaxe. Traps here in the back trying to snipe waiting units. But so far no special action from Kermit. I think they are still trying to figure out where everyone is, where the specials are. Maybe give Denetax here some time to find these Cocos, and these Cocos are walking in the open. That is very dangerous against a very capable longbow. Also nice attempt by the dual blade to get some of these Cocos. Unfortunately, he pays for it with his life. By the way, good waiting position here. Leaving this middle area open. So when the trap hits, it's not risking to hit your own troops, like certain other teams did to remember Lorca. And not even the mostly French team is remembering Lorca with a team trap. Okay, now the Cocos are coming late to the party, but not too late. I guess they wanted to ensure that the way is safe because they can't really lose them, and that is a very good idea because these flames here that start cooking now by White Wing. Uncontested so far. I do not like it. Also no rear flank coming in now. Very delayed Rattan pikes in the back, but Blackwing here definitely got way too much way with his flames. And now we have to see if Silent Warrior on the other side is cooking similar with his flames. They might have been silenced. Actually hard to see it through this trees here. At least the trap is doing something. And it looks like slowly but surely Kermit is marching through. And always keep in mind they keep this very important supply blocked. On the other hand, the other supply is not getting contested or kept. But they also do not need it. They got the supply. And it looks like they are quickly on the way to the end cap here. Trying to snowball. Very interesting. On the first death, trying to snowball. Okay. They're not. They just went for some retreating units. Good call, I think, here by the shot caller of Kermit. Getting his team a little bit less excited and make them reset. Because they definitely already were showing that they are capable of winning these fights pretty cleanly. They do not need to give APM any chance to fight back. But yeah, the quick reset, very good. Kermit is showing here a lot of good team cohesion. Full rotating to the top, or not full, but mostly rotating to the top. And only a very little setup here on the front, in front of the supply. So very good positioning of the blob. Always keep in mind, if you have your main blob here on the top, you can always also join forces here with any amount of units you want to shift. Depending on, for example, if the opposing team has flames in this top corner, you might try to trap. Only have a very minor setup here to maybe keep them more in this position and rotate your main damage blob towards here. So the flames might either rotate over and get trapped, or flame the lower portion, or the smaller portion of the fight. So yeah, this top position in general is one of the most valuable things you can get. And Kermit definitely saw this and is setting themselves up to abuse it. And they are once more playing the poke game. And now we see a counter push by APM here on the weak side, but only with 2 units. And Dezas looked a little bit surprised. Fortunately for him, Spear Sergeants don't care. Mango capping the supply. Yeah, really good eye here to gain a small advantage and to deny the double pulse. But now he needs to make his unit work in the flame versus flame fight. And we are trying to get into a good position to see what is going on. Both teams are fighting on this gate. But the trap is capable of punishing this area, like here, around here. So APM, they need to go through. But this is hard against Zero White Flames. Another trap, but APM reacting properly. 2 trap by pushing in. Unfortunately, they get absolutely massacred by the flames. And now the trap is also hitting very hard. And yeah, brave attempt, but maybe not the smartest positioning for this type of slow fight. And yeah, unfortunately, their attempt to overrun Kermit and taking them by surprise did not pay off, and they get absolutely slaughtered here by Kermit. Very good reactions, very tight team cohesion by Kermit. You really see that these guys play together a lot. They have very good comms, as you can clearly see by the team's movement. And very, very clean attempt here. I think, yeah, on APM side, for me, the highlight was definitely the flames on the supply that started cooking Kermit's blob very early. And yeah, also Mango's quick take off the supply, I think, was a good move. His team just couldn't use it because they lost the fight too hard because of this like bad positioning of it, because they could get traps. They ran through it into flames that could aim the choke and perfectly set up before they made it through. So unfortunately, Mango's move didn't pay off, but it was definitely a good idea. So of course, Mango, as the regular watch my stream, was showing that he is one of the smart players in his team. So yeah, in case you also want to get an IQ buff of at least 10%, subscribe to my channel, follow into the channel, and you will also get a smart elbow. Okay. Seeing, oh yeah, you guys staring at my snack screen. Oh, that's also something I could do. I could add like a nice picture of snacks. Yeah, unit comms, I guess, pretty standard on both sides, but we see one of the sides having a lot of zealots. And I think that is a very interesting idea. I do feel like they lost a little bit of value with the Star Wars bands. And now, no anti-Sally prepared. APM is very certain that there's no Sally coming. Also, not every player in the next to a supply. Holy crap, APM could have been punished here. But they are immediately rushing their zealots here onto the supply so they can load them with 2 artillery pieces or 3 artillery pieces, trying to do, yeah, the loading up cheese that is, yeah, I would say pretty commonly known nowadays. That you can shoot your own zealots, give them their rage, and make them immediately transform before the fight. Which is definitely a strong thing, because like after they transform, they turn into big blob CC machines. And that gives you a big edge in fights with a lot of shields involved. But Star Wars are banned, and I think then the zealots lose a bit of value. Also, not all artillery is taken down. And I mean, come on guys, you have arty. Just do it. APM not being ready for a Sally, but also not really winning the arty battle. I mean, that's one of these things, right? Where people are not comfortable with doing the basic stuff in a efficient way as a team. And this is also where I say, like, some of these people in their team are not that experienced. And you see it in these little things, in these details. Not being prepared for a Sally, still not managing to do the RT battle efficiently. Because like all these things cannot be shot called by the shot caller, you know, like a shot caller cannot micromanage like these guys doing the zealot thing, then this guy is starting to push at a good point, everyone finding a correct RT to use. That's things people need to do by themselves. But for now, this is not crucial. APM is still in a very good place to have a chance of winning the map, and they're going for some instant aggression here on the supply. Santa the Tender with his Shield Maidens trying to catch out some Rattan Pikes. Good idea, but he was not fast enough. with his hero to make these pikes stop. Good longbow positioning here in the back to scout, even if I think that shooting this hero is pretty pointless. But yeah, getting a hero here in the back and trying to figure out where the units are is good. In general, if you want to get some crank education, you can also, if you want to scout units, go onto one of these artilleries, shoot over the middle of the city and do the follow shot thing on your Y or Z key, depending on NA setup or not. And then you just, you know, like turn the camera while you are flying with the projectile and you see where the setup is. It's easier than sending someone who can get killed onto the wall. Also the longbow, I do think, because they are losing a lot of 1v1s, they should be more here on the middle of the wall, where also more likely the special units are. So I guess we pointed out, yeah, perfectly that longbow is maybe mechanically medium hard. If you have good aim, I guess it's a pretty easy class. But the amount of positioning behind it, you know, like the amount of understand, or like the amount of skill you need to understand like the rotation of the opposing special units that you need to kill is definitely the hard thing about the class. And now this longbow is on the ground, not even securing a high ground. That is not giving him the most damage, it's not giving him the overview he needs to kill the Cocos and Flames before the fight. But good Coco throws towards the Flames, and I do think some of the Flame model already died. APM here with a solid advantage. Kermit lost their Flames, and they are now calling in for the retreat because they don't have the Flames. Very, very solid win of territory by a very good flame killing move from their Cocos. Who was the Coco player? The longbow, Lango. Yeah, his longbow positioning was not the greatest, but good eye for the specials, and he made it with the Cocos. And now the catch attempts also start. And Kermit being already forced onto the end cap. This is not ideal. Definitely not. I don't see how APM is holding this end cap for 11 minutes straight. If APM is not doing fuck ups and solidly playing their comp. Because they already beat the hardest part of the map. I do feel like the end cap is the easy part of White Elk. And Kermit immediately was forced to drop back. I think they maybe overdropped. They maybe should have just gone to the supply, let the second flame player pull the second set of flames instead of full running back. Maybe it was a panic reaction because they lost their flames kind of, yeah, directly and, yeah, pre-fight. Maybe that was an overreaction, but maybe. I mean, Kermit have shown that they have a good macro gameplay understanding. So maybe they have a very special idea of what they want to do here on this end cap. That is smarter than everything I would have imagined before. So let's see what they are cooking here. Tango also now on the chain dart, I think, which is more appropriate for his positioning and the type of units he's playing. See some traps, slow build up here by APM. Yeah, and they take so long. They're giving opponents a lot of time to think and adjust. I think that's also one of these things where it shows that they are not as efficient in all these little basic things. And this is something you only get if people are playing the game a lot by themselves. And, you know, like develop all these tiny techniques of how to most efficiently pull double units, of how to get somewhere very fast, to how to pull and heal during the supply phase, whatever, you know. All these things people need to practice by themselves, and then they need to yeah, play scrims together. And very good catch here on the supply. Hintertür going way too early to supply block. And now APM has an opening for sure. But I feel like they're getting overhyped, you know, like they lose their composition. Also the fire archers hitting hard here. And now they need to also counter the Kokos there in the back. Good Koko positioning outside the blob. Also not getting trapped. And I do think the rush in by APM was so uncoordinated that they did not really achieve the advantage they wanted to get from being fast with a made pick. Also the death timer is not long and Hintertür will be back very soon. And it also looks like now Hintertür coming with his Yanyu Daos. As I said, he will be back, and good wipe with the coordinated double Yanyu Dao here. Clean and brutal. Blanking Kev by APM exploding in the Modao of Phalanx. In general, Kermit had very good anti-Kev play during all the games I've seen so far. Also very anti-Kev heavy comms, because Modaos are currently very strong and they are pushing out also to the front side, blocking the supply, denying all the double unit capabilities here. Giving their own team a good chance of resetting once again on this end cap. Random one Yanuda model. Okay. We're just V-moding, so no threat at all. Reset by Kermit is going in very clean. 7 minutes 10 on the clock, so it most likely is 6:30 when APM is pushing. So they definitely have 1.5 fights, depending how long they keep spamming double units. Unit trade is also even enough. They did not make any progress on the end cap when it comes to capping. So solid base to still win the game, but no advantages created so far for APM. And they're going for a full team rotation, and I'm not sure, like, as much as I see why they do it, because it's better for their team, to not make the game too complicated for the individual player. It's not that great into into Koko Flames if you are the team that needs to go around the corner, because they are not the fastest team. They have to go the longer way when they're rotating. Defenders are always rotating the short road here in the inner gate or the inner circle, where they have to go the long way on the outside. But good rotation trap. Trap could have been maybe a little bit earlier. And also more here, like trap here. So yeah, trap is not good. And then you trap, then you start moving to perfectly catch the rotation. Very interesting idea. Oh, the lag is absolutely real. When both sides flames are cooking into these massive blobs. Phalanx player here on the side by APM, not involved in the fight for a very long time, basically until it's too late. And yeah, huge mistake. When you have the Arbalists here that have enough reaction time, these guys can secure the flank against Kev. You need to have this Phalanx in the front line and not waste it on the flank. Also, if you are the flank protector, just get a good overview where people come from, and then commit to the fight if there's no threat on the flank. You can also ensure this information by pressing tab, etc. And yeah, these details are the things that make playing anti-Kev so hard, because it's a role where you have to consistently have an overview of what is happening on the battlefield by yourself, not by your shot caller. You have to find the perfect balance between catching these flanks, maybe protecting even your special units from hero dives, and committing to the main fight as DPS unit, which is especially important on Phalanx. Phalanx is an insane DPS unit if you manage to do the damage combo, the 1-1v combo pretty solidly and consistently. So yeah, minor details that APM definitely has to work on still. And I mean, that makes it for them very hard to compete here in first division, because all these fine details are mostly mastered, and you know, at least very like well progressed in most of the first division teams. So that always makes APM struggle a little bit more. And yeah, maybe then it's, I think they are running in danger to drop out of first division. And I would say it's maybe not the worst thing for them to get opponents that are less punishing them, a little bit slower, a little bit more convenient to play against, to start developing their own skills bit by bit, a little bit more. Because yeah, a lot of basics are not that much on point. Once again, they are very split and the timings seem very off here. What is this Phalanx doing here? He's not in the fight and they're already running in danger of getting engaged here on the top with like 15 versus 9. So yeah, long flanks now coming in. Multiple flank approach to this end cap is definitely the best idea. Main blob is engaging. But very solid work here of the flames. Good Kev by Stars. And this time the fight looks much better for APM. The flank timing was way better than the prior fights. They also had flanks and did not 50-man frontally run face into the flames. Way better turnout for the fight. Still, it's a 50-50 fight and APM is running low on units, so they need to clear this end cap it right now. But I fear Kermit did not lose enough heroes during the first fight, so they have shorter death timers and they have a bigger unit supply. So mostly they are rewiping it. And yeah, still very, very good fight here for APM, especially compared to the first and second fight. I know, like the first fight I guess was good, even if it was not a real fight on the A point. But yeah, like more of these type of fights, guys, and you are way better off. And I do hope you guys take this as a sign of hope to keep going, keep improving. Because I do think you guys have the potential to do so. And it's just, it just makes me sometimes sad, you know? I know these guys could do great or greater and better. But yeah, these little basics are holding them back. Yeah. And I sometimes feel like a preacher consistently reminding these, yeah, basic details. But yeah, I feel like this is one of the things that makes Conqueror's Blade currently is like being consistent on the small things gets you a long way already. And APM definitely has to work on it. But they're coming in with a very last rush. Last minute, full cap time to go. I think it's impossible, but I do appreciate their effort. Their bravery of trying to correct everything I said about them. And maybe prove me wrong, even with fighting this very crazy uphill battle. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Kermit is on their feet. They are ready. They have more and more quality units left. And this is ending in a disaster for APM. Even if there's a ray of hopes. And I must say, GG, APM. Keep your heads high. Keep going. Because I definitely want to see you guys again. Also in the next season of whatever tournament we are getting next. There is potential, there is good foundations in a lot of areas. Don't get too mad about losing. And APM you all the MV with us, very solid 147 unit kills. Great damage also gets units here. He also taking out was, yeah, the whole package. Well played. The rest of more players suffered a little bit more from missing, yeah, slaughter in general. Very crazy performance as Silent Warrior. And I do its main use. The crazy there on the supply fight, I assume. Like, oh no, like they're on the end cap. Yeah, I think it was the end cap. I think when they pushed out flames were not that relevant anymore. So they're absolutely played, playing the units, and keeping them alive always pays off. I actually don't know if you also played specials, but guessing on the type of plays, I think I'd have been in Kev and get like one of these huge fights. So yeah, also well played. And yeah, the wait time until the next match now very, very short.